Hello, hello. Good day. Hello. It's Data. Data. Data changes his voice like he feels like it, okay? If I feel like it, I change my voice. Just something I do. So anyway, going to talk to you today about, I don't care what kind of guitar you have. If you're sitting at home and you're feeling, oh, I've got to get this because I have $5,000 extra to spend, I don't give a shit. You might have a very, very good guitar, and you might be able to transform it into something spectacular with Dita's sage advice on how to improve whatever that is, that guitar you have tone. Now there's two things here that we can't improve. Okay, if you have a plywood top, throw it away, get one with a solid top. Okay, so this will assume that you have a solid top guitar. Okay. Yeah, because that's the only thing that's shit. Plywood tops are shit. So we don't deal with shit here, we deal with my BS, which is bullshit, but nobody else's shit here, okay? So, all right. A guitar is an instrument, it's meant to be played. So this is why I don't care how much you've spent, what model it is, all that is, you know, there are lots of good guitars made by lots of different people in lots of different countries nowadays, ever since they started using CNC machines. So the most important thing is if it's put together well and it's quality materials. It doesn't matter if it's a Yamaha or a Martin or a Boucher or a Guild or a name doesn't matter. It's how it was put together and the quality of the woods that was used. Okay. So if you've got that, then we'll go on from there. So the things that affect the tone the most, and like I don't care if you think that I'm a shit player or whatever. This has got, we're not talking about technique here. We're talking about actual physical physics and science and actual things that you can hear, anyone can hear, that will make a difference and improve the quality of the sound of whatever instruments you have. You know, has. So if you whatever level you play at, it guarantee if you do these 5 or 6 things, it will sound better. If you've already done them, great. I have an older video called The Truth About Guitar Tone or something I did like 6 or 8 years ago. It's very detailed, where I get into the finish. And that's another thing we can't change, but fortunately the last 5 years the finishes have improved, so that if you watch my old video, that the finish may or may not be applicable. It depends. You might have an old guitar. I had old guitars. I get into what I call scraping off the excess finish. We won't talk about that here. So I'm going to show you my little parlor guitar. If you watched any of my other videos, I play this on Ticket to Ride, and you know, ooh, this is a parlor guitar. Anyway. I was at, a friend of mine has a local guitar shop here. He has good quality stuff. So I was there, and sorry, excuse me. It's part of my shtick here. So I was there, and a friend was looking at stuff. So I was getting bored, and I saw this little thing, Art and Lutherie parlor guitar. It was on sale for $399. That wasn't why I picked it up. It was just the thing closest to me. I thought it was a toy. Well, I started playing it, and I loved it. I thought, geez, I couldn't put it down, and seriously, half an hour later, I walked out with it. Now, because it was an inexpensive guitar, it had some issues. Nothing about the playability. This is made by the Godin Guitar Company. They make excellent products generally. In fact, I haven't seen a bad one, unless it's been neglected or abused. What I liked about it, it's got a laminate wild cherry back and sides, which is a nice hardwood, so it can take some abuse. But it does have a pressure-treated, book-matched, solid cedar top, which is very nice. So when I looked at this, some things were really nice. It has a tusq saddle, which is an artificial plastic, but not plasticky cheap saddle that imitates bone, the density of bone, and it had a tusq nut. Usually don't see this on inexpensive guitars. But it had, I think, tusq or plastic bridge pins, and it had mediocre tuners. So I like this thing so much. This is, I swear, this is absolute truth. I was looking at a $2,500 to $4,000 parlor guitar, and I came out with a $399 parlor guitar that I will almost put on par with those, and I'll tell you why. So I took out the bridge pins and I bought, D'Addario makes a nice set of $20 here in Canada. I got ebony bridge pins. They make ebony and boxwood bridge pins, and they're very nice. So they're just very dense. Like I said, anything that contacts the strings, that affects your tone. So the bridge pins hold the strings, so that contacts the strings. Saddle nut contacts the strings, right? Frets too once you press them. Anyway, change bridge pins, 20 bucks. Put on a John Pearce armrest, 60 bucks here. I think they're 40 in the States. The only thing I don't like about the Pearce armrest, don't get me wrong, they're excellent. They're made of ebony or rosewood or boxwood. They're beautiful, but they don't have much of a bevel here. If you can see that. I took a cabinet scraper and made a nice, about 45, 38 degree bevel so that the armrest goes very gently over there. Now, why you need an armrest is because it goes along the edge and it's off the guitar top about 3 millimeters, if you can see that. So that lets the whole top vibrate. So you hear the real tone of the guitar. As soon as you lay your thing down, if you don't have your forearm across the guitar, if you don't have an armrest, you're dampening. You're killing 20 to 40% of the tone of the guitar. If you want to demonstrate what an armrest does, take any guitar you have now, and without holding it like you normally do, like hold it like this, and strum it like this. Okay, and listen to it. Then put it in the normal position you do and strum it, and you'll hear something like this. I'll have to mute the bottom of it because I have an armrest on it. And then you'll hear something like. Now you probably can't hear it, but I could hear it here. As soon as I took my hand off the top, the volume and the tone increased by about 40%. It sounded like nice. Now, really good quality tuners. I like this guitar so much. I put on a set of $200 tuners. No shit, these are top of the line Goto. They're fabulous. The thing stays in tune. Again, where the strings contact the instrument, that's crucial. So I like this guitar so much, I also put like a $300 pickup in it. So I bought a guitar for 400 bucks. I put 400 into it, $800. But I guarantee you, plugged in, it sounds better than the guitars that I were looking at that cost, are you ready for this? Almost 10 times as much. Swear to God. I'll put this up against any parlor you have. Plugged in, I'll put this up against it. I'm not saying I'll play better than you, but it'll sound, whoever, in the same player's hands, this will sound better plugged in. So, hope that helps. So, if you have a nylon string guitar, again, you know, quality of the tuners is more important on that, the nut and the saddle and the armrest. Right? So, nylon string guitar is the only difference is what I'm describing is nylon string guitar will not have bridge pins, and neither does a Breedlove. Like the Breedlove Oregon that I have sounds amazing, and no bridge pins on that, has a different system. So I don't care what kind of guitar you have. If you look at these things, so number one, most important thing, well, strings too will affect it. So get the gauge strings. I'm not a fan of coated strings. I think they sound like garbage. I deal with that later on. If you're a fan of coated strings, well, God bless you. That's just not my cup of tea. Strings are cheap, relatively, you know. when they get rusted or start to lose their, you just change them. Coated string really, yeah. Anyway, it's like wearing a condom, I suppose. So I hope that helps. So the reason I changed the tuners on this, because it was an inexpensive guitar. The tuners were okay. Well, okay isn't good enough for me. I need great, and these are great tuners. You'll find these tuners on $4,000 guitar, 5,000. Goto, Japanese company, they make excellent guitar accessories. Highly recommend. If you have good tuners, that's great. You know, one of the ways you can tell is, does your guitar stay in tune? I had this in its case for 3 months. Pulled it out, it was in tune. That rarely happens because the humidity changes here all the time. And of course, the action. Don't believe these people that tell you, you know, your neck has to be absolutely straight. That's bullshit. If you know anything about how strings work, the amount of the string moves is the shortest at the nut and at the saddle, and it moves the most halfway through the scale length. The string will move up and down more. So if you have a straight neck, it would be buzzing like crazy. So your neck, if you look at it, should have a slight bow in it, and it should be, the strings should be furthest from the guitar at the 12th fret, which is half the scale length. Okay? Scale length is measured from the nut to the saddle, and the 12th fret is halfway through on it, you know, on most guitars. All right, so that's what you look for. And the sustain is amazing. So I hope that helps. Don't give a shit about the name. You might have a really good guitar. You might think, why doesn't it sound great? The single most important thing you can do is get an armrest. Then I would say, check your nut, your saddle, and your bridge pins. Make sure they're tusq or bone, and then your tuners. And so you might have, I don't know, you might have $1,000 guitar or a $2,000 guitar. And what if you do? What's spending another, you know? I mean, I put a $300 pickup in this. You don't have to do that, but so for about between $200 to $400, depending on how much you want to spend and whether you want to put in a good pickup or not, you can transform what you have into something that you're thinking now might just be okay into something that is just wunderbar, idyllic, will make your hair stand on edge, will give you goosebumps. And that's what good tone is all about, or should be, I think. So Wiedersehen, have a good day, and talk to you again next time. Bye.